Well, hello there. This is Mr. Flynn. With the snow days we had this week, I've already kind of fallen behind in my classes. So what I want to do is go do the introduction via video for my Track B students. So when you come in on Monday, we can start fresh. So just get through some of the housekeeping stuff to begin with. My classroom expectations, I don't like to call them rules because if you guys have had Mr. Flynn before as a teacher, you know that I'm not one for rules, but expectations, I'm all about expectations. My first expectation is to be on time. Whether you're at home learning or whether you're at school, I do all my talking at the beginning of class. I explain everything you need to do. I do my lectures at the beginning of class. So if you're going to be late, you're going to miss things that are important. You're not going to know what's going on in class. And so it's very important to be here on time all the time, especially since we don't have a lot of classes to work with. I want to make sure you're getting the most value out of your class time. Come to class prepared. Make sure that you have all materials that you're going to need. If you're doing your work on a laptop or a phone or a tablet, make sure you have those and make sure they're fully charged. I use Teams to do all my teaching. All my notes are on Teams. All the assignments are on Teams. So coming to class every day with a computer, laptop, your phone, your tablet, the key is to have them fully charged because they're not going to do any good if you don't have them charged. So make sure you charge those every day. So be prepared. I guess if you were to sum up my class expectations in one word, I would use the word respect. To me, respect goes a long way in and outside of the school. First of all, I want you to respect my classroom. When you come into my classroom, you'll see that there's lots of projects and items that students have made in the past. The biggest of those items would be the Holocaust Memorial. The Holocaust Memorial was built about 10 years ago by my 11-3 history class, and I want to make sure that you're not damaging it, putting things on it. It holds a lot of sentimental value to me as well because the student who built it tragically died in a car accident about 6 months after finishing it, and it's become a bit of a memorial to him, Mark Bishop, as well. So I want to make sure that you're not doing anything to ruin it, you're not banging on it, you're not leaving garbage in it. That would make me very disappointed. There's many other items that students have made over the years. I don't want you playing with them. I don't want you touching them. I don't mind you asking me questions about them. I'll be happy to answer questions about them, but please leave them where they are because there's someone else's work and it's stuff I kept because I really, really liked it. Respect others in my classroom. I'm assuming everyone wants to pass my course, especially if you're in my grade 11 history classes because you need those courses to graduate. So if people in the class are trying to get their work done, they're trying to pay attention, they're working on assignments or they're working on something, leave them alone. Let's not make lots of noise. Let's not distract them from getting their work done because they want to pass. They want to get a good mark. So allow them that quiet to work. The biggest thing to respect in my class is to respect yourself. If you sit in any of my classes all semester and say, I can't, you are going to be 100% right. Everyone I teach is capable of getting at least a 60 in all my classes. If you work hard, you ask questions, you get help when you need it. Just believe in yourself because I believe in you. That's not just cliche. Everyone I teach is capable of passing the course they're in if they work hard and they believe in themselves. It's simple as that. You can do it. I believe in you. When it comes to music and games in the classroom, while I'm lecturing, while I'm teaching, while you're working on assignments and things like that, you should be focused on those assignments. Especially when I'm teaching or showing a video, you shouldn't be on your phones playing games. You shouldn't be listening to music. You shouldn't have earphones in and that sort of thing. Now, once I'm done lecturing and you're working on your assignments on your own, if you want to listen to music because it helps you focus on the assignment better, I don't mind that, as long as you are not making the music so loud that I can hear it through your headphones at the front of the class. So keep it quiet, but if you need the music to help you focus, by all means do that. If you're done all your work and you want to play a game for a brain break, I don't mind that. But if you're not done your work, you shouldn't be doing anything else in my class except your social studies work or your history work, whichever class you're in. It's important. You'll get much better marks if you use your class time to do your schoolwork rather than to socialize and play games and that sort of thing. Food and drink in the classroom. I don't mind if you eat and drink in the classroom, as long as garbage goes in the garbage can, it's not distracting to anybody else in the classroom. By all means, eat and drink. I get hungry in class as well, and I have to eat something every once in a while. I'm diabetic, so every once in a while I'm crunching on a granola bar as well in case my blood sugar's low, but I like to have a drink of water, a drink of my Diet Coke while I'm teaching sometimes as well. The only caveat I'll put on this is during red phase, I don't want people eating in the classroom. It's just sometimes more of an excuse to take your masks off in class during red phase. So during red phase and orange phase, actually, for that matter, when you have to keep your mask on all the time, I don't want any eating in the classroom. Drinking is fine because you can lift your mask up and take a drink, but eating, you pretty well have to take your mask off in order to eat. But if you can eat with your mask on, by all means, do that. But otherwise, I want you keeping your mask on at all times while we're in the red zone and while we're in the orange zone, just to keep everyone safe. And it helps us keep the school open, so you're not doing learning from home all the time. Fire alarms and lockdown. If the fire alarm sounds, of course, that's indicating whether it's a drill or whether there's really a fire. I'm going to go out the door first. I'm going to lock it on my way out. We're going to go out the door and we're going to turn right. And then we're going to go out the doors to the bus loading zone. Then we're going to turn left once we get to the sidewalk of the bus loading zone and head down to the student parking lot. While we're there, you're going to stand quietly while I take attendance, make sure everyone got out, and then we'll be waiting either to go back in if it's a drill or what our next move is if it's an actual fire. If you are not in the classroom when the fire alarm rings, don't try to make your way to where we will be in the parking lot. Go out the nearest exit and go to with the nearest class. Make sure you tell the teacher you're with that you're in Mr. Flynn's class, and they can inform the office where you are, so I'm not thinking that you're still in the school and it could possibly be on fire. If we go into a lockdown situation, I will turn off the lights. I'll lock the door, and we'll all sit on the floor in the back left corner of the classroom. I'll also make sure that the window shades are closed on my window, and we will sit there quietly, and it's very important to be quiet, whether it's a drill or whether it's a real thing, but you'll sit there quietly until someone from law enforcement comes and unlocks the door for us and lets us know that it is okay. Those are very important things. I know that the chance that something like this that happens in our area is hopefully slim, but it's good to practice, and it's good to keep those good habits in mind when we're in a lockdown. So that's the expectations of the course or of my class. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the course outline, what the expectations are for the class, and what you need to do in order to do very well in the class. Okay? Well, hello there again, Social Studies 10 students. I want to go over what the course is going to look like for Social Studies 10 this year. The course is basically a completely changed from how I normally teach it because of the circumstances we're under. I don't have as many classes as I usually have, so I want to make sure that I make the most of all the classes I have. It's important when you're at home that if I give you work to do, that you do it. If you don't use your home time this semester, you're going to run out of time to get assignments done. And this whole course is all about assignments. Social Studies 10 students are going to have 15 assignments this semester. You'll be doing one assignment per week, all dealing with historical thinking concepts. So that's not asking you much. I've designed this course to relieve some of the stress you might have this semester and last semester. If you can do one assignment a week, you're going to be doing fine in this class. But I'll get to that in a little bit more detail later on. So the goal of Social Studies 10 is to teach you the historical thinking concepts. There's 6 of them, and these historical thinking concepts will help you no matter what you plan on doing when you leave high school, whether it's going right into the workforce, whether it's going on to post-secondary school. These skills will help you with your life after that. They're not just history skills, they're skills. The Social Studies 10 students, of course, will be getting their first introduction to these skills, so I'm going to try my best throughout the semester to teach you these skills very well. Here's a copy of your outline. Understanding what has happened in our past helps us understand who we are today and where we might be going in the future. It can help us make decisions that can shape our town, our province, and our country. Studying history also develops important skills that are used in other subjects. My history skills, I found, will help students tremendously. In my lifetime, I've garnered a lot of different degrees. I have an honors in modern history or in Canadian history. I have a major in general science. I have a minor in math and a minor in English. And in all those subjects, I wrote essays. I had to write science essays. I had to write math essays. All these skills are going to help you with whatever you plan on doing after high school. So the 6 historical thinking concept skills are historical significance, historical perspectives, ethical dimensions of history, cause and consequence, primary source evidence, and continuity and change. And all 6 of these skills are what make up your mark in this class. As you can see, each is worth about almost 17% of your mark. Why? Because they're that important. Now, I'll still be covering lots of content. I'm going to cover about 80 to 90% of the content in this course. But the skills make up the bulk of your mark, or at least 50% of your mark. So it's important when you are coming to class that you're on time, as I mentioned before, that you're prepared, and that you use your class time to your advantage. If you do all that, you're going to do very well in this course. I do have strict due dates, just so you know. On Monday, I'm going to be starting the lecturing part of this class. We're going to start right with early humans and the Big Bang Theory, archaeology and how archaeologists study the past. You're going to be getting an assignment after that lecture, and it'll be due Friday next week. That's the first due date. If for some reason you can't get the assignment done by Friday next week, I will give you a 1-week grace period, and you'll have till the following Friday to get it in. However, after that Friday goes by, I will not be accepting that assignment. So you basically have 2 weeks to get one assignment done. I'm giving you one assignment each week over a total of 15 weeks, and then you have 2 weeks to get that one assignment done. So if you use your time to your advantage, you're going to get that assignment done in the first week. If you're struggling, whether it's because you're not using your time to your advantage, you don't have a very strong work ethic, or if you need help, you should be coming to talk to me. I'm always available DSP. I'm always available over chat and email. Make sure you take advantage of those. But at work ethic, it's a little harder for me to address. You guys are adults, and I'm going to be letting you police yourself in your work ethic. If you're not done your assignment, I'll let you know. But if you don't work on it, I can't mark it. If you don't hand it in, I can't mark it. So it's important that you use your time to your advantage. So that's the bulk of the course. As I said, you're going to be getting 15 assignments. The first 2 units will evaluate the first 3 of the historical thinking concept skills. The units 3 and 4 will cover 3 more skills, and then in unit 5 you're going to be getting a mishmash of a few other skills that I think are very important for you to know. Each of those assignments for each of the skills is worth almost 17% of your mark. The other reason why it's important to get your assignments in, at the end of the semester we're going to have about a week and a half where I do not give you new work. If you are passing, once we get all those 15 assignments done, you'll be able to go back and choose one assignment you didn't do or one assignment you didn't do so good on and redo that assignment for full value to get yourself a better mark. If you're failing, you can go back and choose up to 3 assignments and redo them, get full value, and try to get yourself to a 60. Now, I don't allow you to do any more than 3. So if you're in the habit of not doing your assignments and you end up having not done 6 out of the 15 assignments, you've really put yourself in a bad position to pass this course. So you need, because you're only allowed to go back and choose 3 of those assignments to do. I don't let you do all 6. So that's why it's important to get your work done every week, because at the end, you do have a chance to pass, but sometimes students dig themselves too big of a hole to get out of. So if you do your work consistently and every day, you're going to be fine in this class. So make sure if you have any questions, you come find me. I'm always at my desk during DSP. I'm always available during class time. That's the beauty part of this class, because once you get done the lecturing, you have the rest of the week to work on the assignments, so I can help you in class. But you need to ask questions. I can come around and say, is everything okay? If you say yes every time, even though it's not, I can't help you. That's why I'm here. That's why they pay me $2 an hour, so I can help you. So make sure if you have questions, you ask them. Okay, until Monday, Track B, we'll see you then, and come prepared to work at the beginning of the week. So as I mentioned in the introduction for the course, the focus of Modern History 11.2, Social Studies 10, Modern History 11.3 is going to be the historical thinking concepts. These are things that historians around the world collaborated on and decided that these are the 6 most important skills students should have coming out of history. But through my years teaching these skills, I realized these are skills that are really good to have no matter what course you're in, whether it's sciences, your English courses, your math courses. They all will help you be successful if you hone these skills. So the historical thinking concepts are skills that historians feel are necessary for a student to be able to think historically. Kind of self-explanatory, I guess. As a result, they're also the focus of Modern History 11.2, as I mentioned, Social Studies 10, and 11.3 History. The goal for this course is to teach you these 6 skills. The document below can be found in your Files tab of our teams. It's called Historical Thinking Concepts Guideposts. These documents will assist you in being successful with these skills. Again, the 6 skills, I'm going to start with the first one, historical significance. How do we decide what is important to learn about the past? Why do we study about World War I? Or why do we study about the Peloponnesian Wars or the Persian Wars? Or why do we study about the effects the Holocaust had on our society? We do it because they have an impact on us. Our world today is shaped by the history of whether it's Western Europe or the history of the ancient world. These things have shaped our world today. That's why we study them, so we can have a better understanding of our own world and our own selves. So historical significance, we decide what's important and what's significant in history based on how it impacts us. Historical evidence, it's great to have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. All you have to do is go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you kids use these days, and you'll see everyone has an opinion. But how many of those people with opinions have actual evidence to back it up? It's important if you have an opinion to back it up with evidence. Otherwise, your opinion is just water. It means nothing. It holds no purpose. So if you're doing an assignment and you're giving me an opinion or you're giving me an answer, support that answer with evidence. Without evidence, it's just rambling. So support it, and the better the evidence, the better the assignment. The stronger the evidence, the better the assignment is going to be. So evidence is very important. If you're going to have an opinion, have evidence. It's also very important to, if someone expresses an opinion and they give no evidence, well, it's a good idea to go research that to see if what they're saying is actually true. So evidence helps you with your own opinion, but it also helps give a stronger view of other people's opinions as well. The next historical thinking concept, continuity and change. There's an old saying that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Well, continuity change looks at that. How were things like in the past, and are they still the same in our present today? Have things changed? A perfect example of that is women's rights. In most of the history we're going to be looking at, women didn't have many rights, whether it's the ancient world, whether it's the modern world. For heaven's sakes, women in Canada have only been officially people under the law for about 100 years. That's crazy. So we can often look at history and how women are treated in the past, and we can still see those trends today. Now, mind you, we are making strides, but we have a heck of a long way to go before we have total equality between all people. So that's what continuity and change is all about. It's how things were in the past and how they've changed over time, if they've changed over time at all. Cause and consequence. Every consequence usually has a cause behind it. It's kind of like a science thing, physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Well, history's the same way. If there's an event, there's usually something that led to that event. So we'll be looking at the events that lead to events. So for my 11.2 students, next week we'll be looking at the French Revolution. We're going to look at what caused the French Revolution, what led the peasants to rise up and overthrow the king and overthrow the powers that be. Same with my Social Studies 10 students and Modern History 11.3 students. We'll be looking at many things that we're going to look at the cause behind it. And understanding the causes helps us understand why things happen and why they unfolded as they did. It's a good skill to have even today. If something happens and we want to understand better, we need to look at what caused it in order to figure out why it happened. Historical perspectives is all about seeing history through the eyes of other people. So it's putting yourself in the shoes of people that lived history. It's getting rid of our present day morals and our present day judgments and putting ourselves in the shoes of the people who lived the history and trying to figure out why they would feel the way they did and why they did what they did. So historical perspectives is all about putting yourself in history and trying to think like people in history. Ethical dimensions. This is where we get to put our present day morals into history. We'll be looking at events in history that have questionable circumstances. And for instance, like in modern history 11.2, we'll be looking at the dropping of the atomic bombs on Japan that killed tens of thousands of people. We'll be looking at the ethical questions. Were the Americans justified in dropping those? That is a very ethical question. It gives you a chance to put your own morals and your own points of view into an assignment, and of course supporting with evidence. So those are your 6 historical thinking concepts. On the page in your class notebook, under historical thinking concepts, you're going to see a series of 6 videos. Each of those videos are less than 10 minutes. If you watch each of those videos on your own time, you're going to get a better understanding of the skills that I'm expecting you to have by the end of the semester. At the very end of that page on historical thinking concepts, you're going to see a rubric. Now this rubric is different for the grade 10s and my 11.3s, but for the most part, they're quite similar. For instance, in my 11.2 history class, if you want to get 5 out of 5 on your word count, you need to give me at least 225 words of good words for your answer. In my 11.3 and grade 10 classes, I'm only expecting 200 words. So if you're shooting for a 20 out of 20 on my assignments, then you're looking at the 225 words to get 5 out of 5. In terms of evidence, you have an extremely well-written and argued answer with at least 2 strong pieces of evidence. If you only have 1 strong piece of evidence, you're going to lose marks. There goes your chance out of 20 out of 20. But if you have 2 strong pieces of evidence, that as the next one, it says explanation, you give me a really good thorough explanation of that evidence, you're going to do very well on your assignment. The evidence and explanation parts of the rubric make up half the mark. Finally, all students in all their historical thinking concept assignments have to make a connection to our modern world. You'll be looking at the information that we've studied, and you'll say, well, how does that relate to the modern world? Because there's no sense of studying history if you can't connect it to our modern day life. So that's very important. A lot of students in the past, that's the part they always forget to do, and they end up losing 4 or 5 marks because they don't make a connection. So make sure before you hand in an assignment, you have made a connection to our modern world. So that's the course in a nutshell. When Track B students are here on Monday, we're going to dive right into the course. I'm going to assume that you've all watched this video on the introduction so you have an idea of what's going on in class. So on Monday, 11.2s are going to start with French Revolution. My Social Studies 10 students are going to start with early humans. And the 11.3 history students are going to start right into the Industrial Revolution. So be prepared, Track B students, when we come in on Monday, that you are ready to go, okay? And as usual, if you have any questions, make sure you ask me. That's why they pay me $2 an hour, so I can answer your questions. And don't forget, don't repeat yourself. That's what we don't want history to be repeated. That's another reason why we learn history. So until Monday, have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.